Hi there, this is Joanne from TrueAuthenticPower.com, and I'm also the creator of the program Catapulting to Confidence. I want to tell you a story today that seems like the problem would be in one area, but it was a completely different other area. So let me tell you how this scenario came to be. I had cold called the Lake Placid Olympic Training Center because I really thought that EFT could be such a huge benefit to their athletes, and it would give them a way to reduce their stress and calm down past injury thoughts, beliefs, and fears. And so I did a cold call and I offered the clinic manager a free session. And after the free session, he was so impressed that he allowed me to come in and do a free training for the people who were going out for a seat and a position on the Olympic team and to be competing in other events around the world. So I went in and I did my training. I gave the free session. And then I said to him, I'm willing to offer 5 free sessions because I want you to have proof, not just hear the la-di-da about my presentation and you experienced it, but give me a person who's really struggling, someone that's really having a hard time in whatever way. And I'll let you pick and I'll offer them 5 free sessions so that you can really see what's possible on the athletic level. And so that's exactly what we did. And he suggested a woman who was 27 years old. She was the driver of a 2-man bobsled team. And she had had an injury 13 weeks prior to my meeting with her, wasn't getting better, was getting really depressed. And at certain levels, you have to raise your own money. So you have to get your own sponsors. So she wasn't able to work during the summer due to her injury. She didn't have any lined up sponsors. And she was still at a level 6 out of 10 pain 13 weeks after her surgery, which isn't so uncommon, but she's feeling like her career might be over. She's 27. She's been doing this for 4 years, and she's not recovering and getting more depressed as the days go on. So I offered to work with her. I met with her the first night. And ironically, and this is not so unusual, but I want you to hear the whole story because this is not just about, oh, look, a miraculous thing happened, and it did, but I want you to hear the undercurrent of what was really going on. This seemed like a physical injury. It had nothing really to do with the physical injury at all. That was just a catapult for other things that were stuck and keeping her knee in pain. So we started out, and the first night I worked with her live. We were there. I was still there in person. So I worked with her live, and she told me it feels like I have a hole in my knee. There's a level 6 out of 10 pain. It's not getting any better. I can't do my workouts the way I want to. That whole kind of story. She was out of pain within an hour. Completely out of pain within an hour. Hear me when I tell you that, because what's coming next is it was all emotional, what was keeping her stuck. And that can happen whether it's a physical issue, whether it's a mental block, whether it's a success, love, relationship block, it doesn't matter. If you've got emotional hangups that are holding in your physical body, they will stop you and stymie you. So the reason she got out of pain was we started talking about the injury. Now, what had happened to this woman was she got a new coach, and he was very big on team building and let's all play a sport together. Now, she had told me that she really didn't like to do that because she was always worried about if she does something that she's not familiar with other than her training, she's afraid she'll get hurt and ruin her chances for, continuing. But she acquiesced, she knuckled under, and because she wanted to be a team player and her coach was, expecting this, she played soccer with the group. But what happened next was she and her coach he was playing as well. They were going for the same ball, and he kicked her in the knee. Now, this is totally by accident. It wasn't premeditated or anything, no malice in here. But what happened was, what really ticked her off was she went against her intuition. That was the first thing that bothered her. Second thing was, as she was expressing her pain level and knee problem, he was kind of laughing it off, probably feeling some guilt, I would imagine, because if you hurt somebody else, it's not, what do you do, right? But he was saying things like, oh, are you still complaining about that knee? Which ticked her off even more. So now she's got, I didn't listen to my gut instincts, anger. And then I've got anger at his response, and he's not even regretful. And now my career could be over. Can you hear the level of intensity of the fear, the anxiety, the anger, the worry, the panic? Because she's been doing this for 4 years. And all of a sudden, everything came to a screeching halt. We worked on some of those emotions the first night, and when she actually stood up, she was trying to aggravate her knee to bring the problem back. Now, here's the interesting thing of the story. A couple of days later, because she was not medically cleared, she could not try out for her seat as a driver for the future events. So she was watching other people go out for her seat to take her spot. Okay, so now the pain reared up all over again. But the clue here is it was all emotionally triggered. She was angry. She was frustrated. What if I can't come back? What if they don't approve me? Blah, blah, blah. You can get the idea of the scenario. And so the pain came rearing back. And again, we cleared it completely. It was not about the physical. There was the emotional components going on here that were so powerful. People don't realize the intent and the power of words, of feelings, of emotions. They are as detrimental as some kind of poisons could be, or food that is really detrimental to us. Each emotion carries an energy by itself, and when you compound those, they can just lock you up in a heartbeat. And people would say, that's not an emotional problem. That's a physical problem, right? So it appeared. We did 5 sessions, a week apart. And in those 5 sessions, we delved into why does she keep hitting the same walls? Why does she keep looping in the same patterns? Because every time she got close to success, something would rear up, stand in her way, and that's an emotional pattern. It had nothing to do with her knee injury. That was something that existed even before she got hurt. We cleared all those things up, and in those 5 weeks, I think it was a week and a half later, she was cleared to compete in Germany. In that time, she also miraculously, and this happens a lot with EFT, and if you're not used to hearing this kind of stuff, if you're not used to seeing miracles, wow, I'm just telling you, when you're a practitioner like I am, when you're a coach like I am, you see this kind of stuff all the time, and it boggles my mind still every time it happens, but it happens a lot. She got not only one complete sponsor, but she was on her way to getting a second sponsor, cleared, medically cleared, and she was competing by early December in Germany. We cleared things about the German trip, about it's always about the mission and not having a good time while doing it, what her other competitors would be thinking of her, feeling like she had to push herself to the limit because now she's so far behind. We cleared all of those fears so that she could do what felt right to her, what was right in her alignment, in her energy, in her belief system. All of that happened in 5 sessions. My point is that so many people will look at an issue, and prior to doing EFT, I didn't know all this existed either. The point of this particular story is everybody would think that that's a physical issue. Most people, a lot of people, not necessarily people who do EFT or some energy work, but the average person would think that that's a physical injury. While it looks that way, what was holding it in place and not allowing it to heal completely was the emotional level. And people just don't realize the power of our emotions. We know intuitively that stress can play and work us over, play on us and work us over. But when you hear and see that kind of level of story, I just don't think the average person who doesn't know about energy work would have any idea that that could be a possibility. I heard from her through the process because I was looking for feedback, what's going on, so I would know how to refocus for the next session. But her testimonial is on my website, and it's about the Olympic story that was back a few years, but it's such a powerful story because it just illustrates there's so much more underneath. I will be sharing more of these kind of stories, but in the meantime, one of the things that I hear people really struggling, even before they hit a crisis point, is how to get really clear on what you want. And I want to give you a tool for that because it's so important, beyond important. And it will also flush up all the reasons why you think you can't do it, which then you can do EFT tapping on to clear. It's called Design Your Life Now. It's on the homepage of my website. And it's a wonderful download that came from trying this out with client after client after client. When we get really clear on what we want, not just I'll do anything to make the money, or I'll do anything to be in love. We unconsciously do that a lot. But when we see what values we need, you can start to actually program that into your energy. And my Design Your Life Now free download is a tool to help you do that. And then there's also an associated video to show you how to use what you've put on that dream sheet, your ideal of ideals, because there's also a questionnaire there inside that document that says, and what do you think is in your way? And bingo, those are the things that are actually keeping you stuck. I hope this helps. I hope you will go and try out the download to get really clear on what you want, not just what you've heard you should want, not just what gurus tell you, not just what your family and your history has raised you to believe is true, but to actually get in touch with what you want. Because I'm telling you, oh my goodness, when you see people in alignment, they soar. They're happy. I'm one of them. I was doing my business very out of an alignment with what felt right to me. And once I started changing that, it just brings so much more peace and happiness. So I've been through this process myself. I've led oodles of clients through that process with the Design Your Life Now. And I would suggest that if you're feeling incongruent or just something isn't quite right, getting clear on what you really love first before stuff hits the fan that says, no, honey, you're off course. Don't go that way. Try this out. It could be very life-changing. And in fact, for the clients that I've used it on, it has been very life-changing. This is Joanne from trueauthenticpower.com. And until our paths cross again next time, bye-bye for now.